Buongiorno and welcome to the My Way of Thinking podcast, or MWOT for short, hosted by me, Lee Greeno, here live from the Man Cave every week. Hope you're doing well out there. The sun is shining. I've had my vaccine. I am vaccinated. Which was fun. And hopefully we're going to get some more news about being able to go abroad, which will be great news. You can also see that if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see that I burnt myself on my head the other day because the sun comes out and I do what the Brits do, sit in it for hours on end, which don't do that. Always wear sun cream. Anyway, today I'm speaking to the brilliant Natalie Crawford. Natalie Crawford is a confidence coach. Now, if you lack confidence, this is the episode for you. Natalie's such a lovely lady. She exudes confidence, and she will help you if you need it. And also there's some great tips and advice on this as well. So make sure you listen into this. Remember, My Way of Thinking is all about us, amazing human beings that all have stories to tell. And those stories can vary massively. But with the guests I'll be interviewing, you'll always be able to take a little bit of advice or insight into how extraordinary we can all be. Remember, 4 rules: 1, no bullshitting; 2, no judging; 3, no negativity; and 4, have fun. And remember to look back. You'll see previous episodes above my head, hopefully, if I'm good enough at the technical stuff on YouTube. But if not, look back, because there's just some cracking interviews that I did with Ira Israel, all talking about mindfulness and his journey. John Bosiak, one of America's biggest fraudsters, all those kind of things. Previous episodes, absolutely awesome. And remember, the podcast streaming on all the usual platforms: YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I'm not with it today. The sunburn is just killing me. Just put in My Way of Thinking podcast. We're all on there. And finally, if you would like to be a guest, or you think you know someone would want to be a guest, or you want me to ask someone to be a guest, email me on MWOTpodcast@AOL.com. Okay, let's get on with it. This is my interview with the brilliant Natalie. So welcome to My Way of Thinking, and I have the one and only Natalie Crawford on today. Welcome, Natalie.
Hello, nice to meet you, everyone.
I need to start putting a round of applause.
Yeah,
sound effect.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Make you feel really special, wouldn't it?
Yeah, this day and age, when actually you've got no chance of people clapping around you for the last 12 months or whatever it is. But
yeah, a massive crowd noise would be awesome. Just at that point.
I will do it. I'll write it down now. Crowd. I think I've got one somewhere in my list of special effects. I've got a big list of special effects because I do films and short films and stuff like that. And sometimes I'll just be playing them. I work for like half an hour. I'll just be going through them because some of them are great. Some of them are like, man falling through glass. Jelly being thrown at a wall. It's like,
well, I've got 4 children, so I could probably create a good soundtrack of, sound effects and just send them for you if you like.
Yeah. It's surprising what you get up to when you're in isolation, lockdown.
I know.
Anyway, so thanks ever so much for coming on today. We're going to go through where you got started and how you got to where you are, and also how we connected. But I always like to start on a couple of uplifting stories, shall we say, because the news is quite dire at the minute. Yeah. So we always try and find something in there. There's a couple of things that are quite funny. Well, one's really hilarious, so let's talk about that one first. Oh, I had a bleep then. A woman took to TikTok to share an embarrassing story of how her husband unknowingly exposed a very personal detail to his family in a video that's been viewed more than 700,000 times. It's probably even more now. So basically what happened, the TikTok user, When Freed is her name, revealed that her partner when he sent photos that were taken in the delivery room just moments after the little one was born, and he sent it out to the whole family, which, a lot of people do now. But what he failed to notice was that his wife's hospital gown was still up around her waist, leaving everything below the hips on show. That's terrible.
Wow.
How
embarrassing. Thanks my husband for that, to be fair.
How embarrassing. In the video that's been viewed more than 700,000 times, the mum of 3 dropped her head in disgust when she found out. Now on TikTok, it doesn't show below the waist, but there's an emoji like a shocked emoji face.
Covering it all up.
Yeah, and I just thought, when, I don't know about you, you've got 4 children, haven't you?
Mm.
But
Yeah.
I've got 2. And the last thing I thought about straight after birth was taking a photo.
I know. No, I mean, I didn't. I think we had one probably about an hour later.
Yeah.
But do you know what? It's funny that this topic's come up and you've mentioned about this, because it's always been on my mind. I thought, I would have actually really liked a video to look back on. It goes so quick, and you're obviously in that adrenaline phase where you're just getting through because of, you just need to see what the baby is, and then it's healthy and it's well. And although I wouldn't absolutely not want it all over social media, I think I probably would have liked it to watch back and just relive that moment.
Yeah, I know what you mean, just between you and your partner and your kids when they're older. But I think it's big in America. They've been videotaping it for years, haven't they?
Yeah, it's been, definitely, they have. But they you know, I often, sometimes I'm scrolling on my phone on socials and see this baby being born on Instagram, and I'm like, oh wow. But it's oh wow, as if, like, I just think, oh my gosh, you're brave to share that. So out there. But then I am drawn to it, and I'm very maternal. So that whole bringing a baby into the world, it does get my heart, I must admit, a bit.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I think, like you say, it's one of those things that happens and you sort of forget about it. You know, it's one of those memories that sort of, as it fades a little bit, you think, I wish I could recall it a little bit more. But this guy just took a photo straight away, going around the waist. What a nutter. So I thought that was quite funny. Now, this one interests me. Former Apple employee Tanya Cornerstone posted a video on TikTok. Everything's on TikTok now. To explain how customers can get free replacements for fixes. Basically, she began a trend by asking people on the platform, if you've worked for a large corporation like a chain of restaurants or a retail place, I'm going to tell you a secret about Apple. And it received countless replies. And one of the Apple employees said that I used to work for Apple, and the first thing was that rude customers, she said, if you're rude to a genius are the professionals that in there that help you, or a concierge person, you'll probably get it fixed, but you're going to have to pay for it. However, when you come across someone really nice or, you know, grateful for everything you're doing, they call it a surprise and delight thing that they can do, where they essentially, a staff member is able to go above and beyond customers. And they use it a lot when people come in and they have water damage and they're not allowed to replace those unless they pay. Sometimes they'll use this surprise and delight, and they can actually give people free replacements. And this made me think, because I've been an Apple user, an iPhone user for a long time. And I remember when I had a problem with my phone and I went to Leicester, I booked in, you have to book online. And there was a woman before me and she was going mental, swearing, kicking off. So anyway, she left and the guy came over. I said, look, mate, you know, it's nothing I'm not going to have a go at you. It's not your fault. You're not head of Apple or anything like that. There's a problem. Can you help? And he replaced the phone. And that made me think, this has got something, this is a brilliant idea to stop people kicking off. What do you think? You got an iPhone?
Yeah, I'm total Apple everywhere. Everything I have is Apple, so I'll try that one.
That's brilliant customer care, though, isn't it? That you don't go in there ranting and raving, and just be human and respectful.
Normal.
I know.
I think some people expect the world, though, don't they? And they just want the problem solved. Like, it's your responsibility. Whoever stood in front of them in a shop. Because I've worked in retail for many years, so I get it. And it's kind of like, no, it's your responsibility. I'm coming to you, so I want you to fix it. It's like, okay.
I know, but I thought that was nice, and I thought more companies need to take note of that, and customers need to take note as well. because I've worked in retail and customer service, and you can just, out of every, I don't know what, 30 customers, you get one that's just a pain in the arse, and you think, why? I'm trying to help you, but I'm not going to go above and beyond if you're going to be a complete arsehole. Yet they seem to think they seem to think you'll pull out all the stops, and we're all just there doing a job at the end of the day. But I thought they were two interesting stories anyway.
Yeah, really great.
Right, so thanks so much for coming on, Natalie. Now, how we connected is through a mutual friend of ours, but it was actually on Clubhouse. The new
of all places.
I know, the new thing. Now, Clubhouse is an interesting one to me. It's in its beta phase, so it's being trialed. And I think a lot of Americans have gone on there way before us, which I think I've noticed. How are you finding it? Because I'm sort of having mixed feelings. Some rooms are very good. Some are just awful. I spoke about it the other day that some guy came on stage and he sounded stoned out of his head. So what's your experience been?
When I first initially went on Clubhouse, I'm quite inquisitive, so I like to, if somebody's raving about something, I like to find out for myself. And so I'd obviously heard a lot about Clubhouse, and obviously with me doing what I do, I can do it all over the world, really. I can do it from the comfort of my own home, in my PJs if I wanted. Yeah. So I was like, right, okay, this sounds interesting. So I went on, and I hated it. Absolutely hated it. And I said, I will not go on there, because the room I went in, I think there was 1.2k people in there. It was huge. And it was a real ego grooming. It was just awful. And I was just like, oh no, why is everybody raving about this? It's absolutely vile. Everyone was just like combing each other's ego. And I just thought, if that's really where it's going, I don't want to be a part of it. So I actually deleted my app. Deleted it. And our mutual friend, who we both know, was saying, you need to be on Clubhouse. Like, why are you not on Clubhouse? And I was like, oh, it's not for me. It's not for me. He was like, are you serious? You'd be amazing on Clubhouse. Think of all the things we've done. Think of, obviously, your business and what kind of a business it is. It would be perfect for Clubhouse. And he's saying, come and join one of my rooms. Come be a mod for me. And I was like, oh, no, really? And he sent me the topic that he was covering. And I was like, oh, actually, that's a good topic, actually. I'll jump in. And honestly, from that moment, completely transformed. I love Clubhouse now. I think I was just in the wrong rooms. I think people go on and they see all these famous people on there, like people that we probably aspire and look up to, and we think that's the room we need to be in, where there's millions of people. You probably wouldn't even get seen or heard anyway. And I was just a bit like, there's nothing wrong with it as long as you're utilising it for your purposes. I mean, don't get me wrong, on some of the bigger rooms, there's some great golden nuggets. Like, there are. Yeah. But it's like everything. Are you utilising it for your purpose? And I think now I've had a bit of a check with that and got myself back in my lane that I should have been in initially. I'm loving it. I've made some fabulous contacts, you being one of them. And, there's been some real great opportunities come my way from Clubhouse. So I'm actually very grateful for it. It's just the only other thing you've got to be careful of is to not, because you could be on it all day, couldn't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've listened to it a few times when I've been at work. Don't tell anyone. But yeah, you can, if you find an interesting conversation, and like you say, I've found the smaller rooms to be more beneficial. Definitely. Some of the bigger rooms, I don't like to moan, but some of these Americans blowing smoke up their own arses. Yeah. Like, oh my God, just shut the But anyway, but then there's a couple of little groups that I keep popping on to do with podcasting, which are great. And like you say, you get some wonderful bits of nugget. the advice you do get that's valuable, I think, is brilliant, because before this, we'd be paying for a course or, mentoring, and we're getting this for free. So I think if you get in the right rooms, definitely, I think it's...
I totally agree. I totally agree. And it's inspired me I've actually started my own room yesterday.
Oh, did you? What was it for? What was it called?
It's called Natterbox, because we're in a bit of a crazy situation. We're actually living in a cottage at the minute. We've sold our house. We're in a rented cottage, which is just a holiday let, but because of our situation, they're able to accommodate us. So we have nowhere to go. So we found a place that we're going to move into, but it's not till mid-April.
Yeah.
So as soon as I get settled, I'm going to I've got a podcast that I want to do, which I've called it Natterbox, purely because obviously my name's Natalie, but I love to talk, as you well know. So Natterbox. So I just thought, do you know what? I'm gonna combine it, so I can obviously utilize it to meet people, and then get them on to do like talks on podcasts and things like that. So Natterbox. So give me a follow.
How did you find it doing your own room? Because I'd like to do one, because I love film. I'd love to do one just talking about film, but I'm worried that I'll go into a room and there'll be like no one on there. You just
surprised. Yeah. Honestly, would be surprised. And do you know, if there's only a couple on, what? Yeah. It's just an open discussion conversation. And I think, like with everything, you start small and work your way up, don't you? And I think that it's nice. It's just nice, engaging conversation. And usually, I think even if it is just a small room, the people that are in the room and stay in the room are meant to be in the room. I'm a massive believer of things like that, like timing and stuff. So, no, I think you'll be fine. Get it done.
I will do it. Definitely.
I'm going to hold you accountable now.
Oh God, I'll invite you. It'll just be me and you. Right. Okay, so that's how we connected anyway. Now I've looked at your website and done a bit of research, because I'm a professional, of course, and you're obviously coaching, and there's lots of different things that you're doing. Confidence is a big one. But first of all, tell us a bit about growing up. What was growing up for you like?
Horrible.
Oh, was
growing
it?
up for me was not great. And this is why I do what I do now, because I went through quite a challenging childhood. My mum and dad split when I was very young. My dad wasn't really in my life all the time, in and out, and it affected me a lot, as things do when you're young. And those conditioning that I had, seeing what I was witnessing, experiencing the feelings and the emotions, I started to notice it was creeping into my early years and my adulthood, and it was becoming like a belief that I had of myself, and I saw myself in a certain way because of what I'd experienced. So I had massive limiting beliefs, huge. My confidence would be up, it would be okay, and then I'd be in a situation. I always seem to attract situations where I'd get shit on all the time. And I think that was because of what I'd experienced, and in terms of my beliefs and values, I guess that's what I thought I deserved. So it goes without saying, doesn't it? What you think you deserve, you're going to get, and you're welcomed into your life. So I kept being in this habit. I was really badly bullied throughout my schooling years, because I was from Derby to Mountain Mowbray in Leicestershire at the age of 7. So I was the new kid on the block, and it didn't really go down very well. And I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, I didn't pinch from the corner shop. I was quite a good
What was
kid.
wrong with you?
I know. I was a real good kid, to be fair, and I fell in that trap of just wanting to be liked. So again, shit on from a great height, continuously, and my confidence really got knocked. But every time I would always find a way. It was just like something in me where I could channel something to pick it back up. And again, it's continued, and through life, life's an ocean, isn't it? There's waves, and there's tsunamis and all sorts. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's life. And I think you do have to, control this channeling of your confidence, because confidence really oozes out of you when you're on your path. I think when you're living your purpose, you're doing something that you're meant to be doing, confidence is like there.
Yeah.
You don't need to find it. It's not an emotion, because confident people still have anxiety, they still get nervous, still get stressed. They're emotions. Confident people still get those. So confidence isn't an emotion. And I think, that's what people look for sometimes. They're looking for this, I need this confidence.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's usually the backstory of why they don't have the confidence that needs to be worked on.
Yeah. I think as well, talking about confidence, people, you don't have to be confident all the time. There can be different situations. You could be an introvert but confident at certain things, and I think people need to realize that. You might see someone that is doing a job, or like you say, because they love that job, they seem really confident and with it, but back home they could be quite quiet, and it all depends on the surroundings and the situation. For me, when I've had to be really confident is when I've pushed myself out of my boundaries. Like if the first time I went to London to do with film stuff, all on my own, with a lot of different people, pushing myself. And you sort of think, well, you push yourself to be confident because it helps push through the uncomfortable times. But what I always say is, when you feel uncomfortable, push through it, because you'll feel better for it. And that's how we grow.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I one good tip I always say to my clients as well is, when they're feeling that fear, the fear of something, or, doing something, the nerves and excitement are exactly the same feeling. When you feel nervous or fearful of something, that fear feeling, we're going to call it a feeling, that we get is exactly the same when we're excited. It's like a pent up, feeling that we get inside. It's the same feeling, we've just got two different names for it. So I just say, if you're ever feeling like that, just tell yourself you're excited. You're not nervous, you're excited. Especially like going for a new job or something like that, where they say, I'm nervous. No, you're not. You're excited. You're excited. You're totally excited to be there, and just embrace that feeling, because you're pushing, like you said, pushing through that next level to where you're going to be.
Yeah.
It's about reframing. It's about renaming things and detaching yourself from beliefs that you have been through, that you've programmed, but actually they're not your beliefs. They may have been passed down from a parent or a guardian or something like that, and you're taking them on as your beliefs. But then when you uncover it and work through it, you're like, actually, that's not even my belief. I don't believe in that.
Yeah. Did you, so when you went through quite a bit when you were younger, then when you left school, was this something you knew you wanted to get into, or did you want to do something totally different when you left school?
No, oh my goodness me. Well, I left home at 16.
Yeah.
So I had about 10 million jobs, no word of a lie, just to pay bills. I left home at 16, didn't know what I was going to do. I was training at I was at college at the time doing beauty therapy. I had two burning desires that I had. One was to be an air hostess, and one was to be a model. I always wanted to be a model, and I think that stemmed from when I was growing up and I was going through this whole turbulent time of being bullied and picked on, and my family life, my mum and my dad, and everything was just out of kilter. I loved drama at school.
Oh, right.
And because I could be somebody different. I could be another character. I could be anybody that I wanted to, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it was the same with modelling. I used to sit looking at pictures, and it wasn't so much the model, it was the emotion she was wearing. I could feel it. Whatever picture I saw, I could be in that exact same feeling that person in the picture was feeling. And I just had this big relation to, I'd love to do that, because I felt like I could tell such a story at such a young age. So they were my two things that I really wanted to do, but because I left home, I couldn't do them initially straight away, and I didn't really know the how to do it. So I worked in Quick Save, I was a checkout chip in Tesco, I worked in a chip shop, and I could finish my college doing beauty because I couldn't fund it anymore because I wasn't living at home. So when you're not under the school kind of situation, it has to be funded. Personally, and I couldn't do it, so I had to leave that there and park it. But I got myself a little job in a spa, and loved that. I was on reception dealing with customers, and it was great. It was really lovely. And then I had a bit of a turbulent situation going on in my life, and I just thought, I have to leave this area. It's the area, I've got to go. So I just completely up sticks, and I moved to Nottingham.
All right.
And when I was at Nottingham, I literally just, again, had to get this confidence from somewhere to just put myself out there. I literally went in a few shops down the boulevard and got a job just like that off the cuff, working in a letting agents. So got a job in there, and I think I was there for maybe about 9 months. And then that desire of being an air hostess came back. So I applied for a couple of places, I had a few interviews, got knocked back from a few because it's real tight criteria. I don't think I realised at the time, how you have to be so high, so thin, so, shoe size and hair colour, and it's quite strict.
Yeah.
And anyway, long story short, I got a job. I went to work with Thompson Fly at the time, which is now TUI, and I fulfilled my little wish. But during that time, I met my husband, and moved to. Well, I actually lived in Luton while I was air hostessing, but hated it, absolutely hated it. And then I moved up north, and then from there, just got I've had loads of jobs, but I think through all of the things that I've been through, it's really delivered me back to myself, if that makes sense. Especially this year. Last year, 2020 was my year, if you like. A lot of stuff happened, not all good, some quite painful, some quite bad. But it really brought me back to actually, what was I put on this planet for? Yeah. And for me, it's when I'm helping people, and I think, our mutual friend discusses this a lot. You can only give the advice if you bear that pain yourself. And for me, confidence has always been something that I've continuously had to go over and over and over again to get me to where I am. So for me, that's where I've ended up, doing the coaching, and I love it because I love taking someone from here to here. But just all I've done is really breathe that light on them so they can see for themselves, because I can't give them confidence. I can't say, there you go, thank you very much. It's within everybody. Yeah. It's just channeling it properly to serve us. And like you said, allowing that understanding of you don't have to be confident at everything.
Yeah. It sounds to me, I mean, I can't believe you were never confident, to be fair. But
you denied it.
Oh no, yeah. It sounds to me like you were never sort of settled in a job, and so you kept changing, and all the time having these different experiences. So it sounds like that. For anyone, that's going to help with their experience, isn't it? Dealing with all these different jobs, different people, different situations.
Yeah.
And then what I find is, as you get later in life, especially for me, then you start thinking, so you'll go through this work life, you'll have kids, family, and then all of a sudden you sit down one day and say, wait there, what do I actually want to do with my life? Yeah. Because it goes by so quick when you're doing everything else. And then you start to reflect. Is that something you did, do you think?
100%. And 2020 was that year for me.
Yeah.
I'm 33, got 4 beautiful children, got a beautiful husband who absolutely adores the ground I walk on. He really does. So I feel made. I don't feel like I need anything. But I think it goes back to, like you said, doing all these. I've got a string to my bow on every single level, and there's nothing I can't do or won't try, to put my hand to. I'm not afraid of, being under pressure, trying new things. But then I guess inside there was always this, not emptiness, but it's like an unfulfilled feeling, like there's something. And I think that's why you're constantly looking for something different, because you don't feel completely fulfilled inside. And I honestly believe that everyone's put on this earth to fulfill a purpose. Everybody's got a purpose in life. You're not just put on the earth. There's something, and some people find it, some people don't. But I guess because of my drive and my ambition, I just wasn't settled till I found it. And I definitely feel like I've found it big time, but it's just now channeling that so that I can gain freedom and fluidity, really, which is what we're working on as a family in particular right now.
Yeah, I think this, with the lockdown, it will have affected quite a few people, especially with confidence. If you weren't very confident, or you were timid before, and you haven't had support, or you maybe on your own, it must have really hit certain people this lockdown, don't you think?
It has, because there's been so much separation from the world. We've been cooped in our houses. We haven't been able to interact as much. I mean, I know, there's been things like amazing Clubhouse, and there has been networking online and stuff like that, like Zoom calls and stuff. But if you're not feeling, if you're struggling, the last thing you want to do is get on. And not only that, most people are in the pajamas, they're not so I think people have completely fell in a bit of a rut at the minute. That's what I'm finding anyway. The people that are coming to me, they maybe once had confidence, they were fulfilling what they thought as their dream. And then maybe something like this has happened, and actually they've had time to reflect and thought, actually, what the hell am I doing? This isn't even what I want to do. I want to be here. But because I currently feel like this, how the hell do I get there?
Yeah, that's going to have a massive effect. People that were going through life, hunky-dory, all of a sudden we've had lockdown, things have changed, so they haven't gone into work and things like that. So they've had this time and space to think. And mental health, we talk about mental health a lot on this podcast. They've had that time to think. Now, all of a sudden, we're going to be going back to work. Things are going to be, and a lot of people are going to be thinking, I don't want to go back to work. I don't enjoy that job. I was doing the wrong thing. So it's going to be a real interesting time, isn't it?
It really is. And I think, like, you nailed it there. I think people are now afraid to go back to normal. I mean, it will never be normal, I don't think, and it will never be the same again. And I'm kind of in two minds whether, lockdown is going to lift, if you like, because obviously what we've been used to for the last year, I know.
Don't say that, Natalie, don't say that.
Sorry.
I've got my table booked for April the 12th.
Yeah, it's kind of, people are now afraid to go back to normal. And that's so sad. It really is so sad. And it's just, my heart goes out to all those people that have really let this whole situation take over who they really truly are.
Yeah, I think the positive side of it is that people might come out of this and think, well, actually, I've always wanted to do this career, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for it. So I think it'll make people a lot more positive if they want to push themselves and do what they have always wanted to do. It's sort of, been a quick shock to the system. And I think on a positive note, people that do that, it'll be great. But like you say, it's the people that are afraid and worried about getting.
Incredible entrepreneurs come out of 2020. I really do. And I think you said, you know, people that have actually had a bit of a wake-up call and thought, oh my gosh, what am I doing? It's now or never. And, you know, just going to go for it. And I think good on them.
Oh yeah, because when the lockdown happened, you could see certain businesses adapting. Some didn't, and they were like, "We're just going to ride this out." But some straight away were going to do, you know, restaurants were going to do online deliveries. We're going to do this, so you could see the difference. Some people weren't bothering; others were hitting it hard, and realizing this is what we have to do to survive and adapt. So those companies have done really well. I think where you're going to struggle are the companies that just didn't bother to adapt, and they're really struggling.
I totally agree. We've got a coffee shop actually.
Oh right.
We're a bit of a restaurant, coffee shop in our area. I wouldn't say they were overly massive before lockdown, just, you know, the odd pop in for a coffee, that kind of thing. And honestly, the transformation in them through this lockdown, the place to be in our area is that coffee shop. They've done some incredible things. He's now got so many opportunities on the back of that because of it. And I think I've just been like in awe, just thinking, wow, you have really taken this by the bullet and just gone for it. But because no one else in the area, I mean, we've got loads of coffee shops in our area, but none of them have done what these have done. Yeah. And, you know, they're now reaping the benefits moving forward because of it, because they were using using the marbles and just thinking, right, what can we do here?
Now, that's right. So the company, company or coaching or whatever you call it, confident coaching. Tell us a bit about that then, Natalie. What's the idea? Do you coach anybody or?
Okay, so I don't coach anybody. We have what we call like a bit of a discovery call first. So just where I can get to grips with where you are. I like to know their expectations as well as me giving them mine, because it's one of them where if they're just going to sit there and just expect you to, like I said before, give them that confidence, it's not going to happen. And therefore they're going to be dissatisfied, and so am I. So I like to find out a little bit about them, but my coaching specifically is very tailored. It's not, I don't have a package as in to say, this is my package, this is what you'll do, and you, because I know that from having kids, everybody's different. One thing that somebody else might be going through and might need specific, you know, work in a certain area, the next person might not need that at all. So I think when you create these packages that you say, right, I'm rolling this out to every single person that walks through the door. And I've had that myself where I've employed a coach, because I've got a lot of different coaches for different areas in my life. And I think when you sort of have to fit that box, don't you? Right, this is my package and you have to fit into this package if you want me to work with you. I just don't think it works. So my package is very tailored to the individual needs of that client. Obviously I'm quite equipped in terms of lots of different areas, not just confidence, some business stuff I can tackle and help people with, and obviously limiting beliefs and things like that. It's quite a wide spectrum. And helping them just move forward, you know, and live a happier life where things are serving them and they're not just living life because they have to. It's purposeful, it's meaningful, and so, you know, it kind of delivers them back to who they truly are, which sometimes I think people, they're not understanding that. They're just doing the do because they feel they've got to do it.
Yeah, I think in the UK, coaching and mentoring we're a bit behind America, to be fair. I spoke to a guy, I just released the episode actually, Michael Anthony, a lovely guy. He's a mentor and a coach for people that have suffered trauma through childhood. And he was saying, you know, I haven't got qualifications, I've got experience, and I work with people and I mentor people. They might have a therapist as well, you know, I'm something different than that. And I think that's where the UK is lacking. We've never really had that. Therapy's never really been talked about. I mean, over in America, God, it's all they've ever done. And I think it's good that it's coming a lot more over the UK now, and people are realising I can have a mentor and a coach. I don't have to be, it's not something that's weird or strange. It's something that's going to help me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is normalising. And I love what you said. And I did watch that podcast that you were talking about. And
How powerful that was, wasn't it? That guy,
really
what?
Really, really good. But I really honestly love coaches that come from experience, not from qualification, because what's the good of having qualification if they've not lived it? They don't actually know what you are experiencing because they've never lived it. They might have learnt about it, but learning about it and experiencing it are two different things. So yeah, if I ever look for a coach, I want to know they've been in the trenches, and I want to know that they've been where I am right now. Otherwise, it doesn't go any further.
Yeah, and I think, and the other thing is, I can't remember who I spoke to, but they were saying about, like you just said about coaches, about therapy and things like that. There's not one right fit. You know, sometimes you might need to speak to a few mentors or coaches. Because they contact you doesn't mean if it doesn't work, it's not going to work with someone else. Everybody's different, and that's good. What you said is you won't take everybody on. No. You like to know that you're that right fit.
100%, and I like to know that they're coachable, and I like to also feel the energy. I'm a massive energy feeler. If there's no energy,
yeah.
It's going to be like talking to a wall, isn't it? It's really difficult, and I think when things are created on energy and it is a good fit, things happen, magic happens. But if there's no energy alignment and things aren't sparking, and I don't mean in like a romantic way, I mean like on just an energy level, if there's no spark there, you're dead in the water, aren't you? You're not going to do anything because you're not going to feel like you want to.
Yeah, because that's the whole point with confidence. You've got to push yourself, haven't you? And if you find someone like that, it could be a case of they need therapy, or more work in another area. The thing with confidence is you need to know that you can push that person and they're going to push themselves. You have to put effort in. You have to put the effort in. That's what it's all about. You want to improve yourself. We said about being uncomfortable, but you have to have a person that's willing to push through, don't you?
Yeah. And one thing I really encourage all of my clients to do is share their vulnerability. You know, I think we've been it's a culture, isn't it, where we've been taught not to share if you're vulnerable or not to share what you're going through because it's seen as a weakness, when actually on the back of that, and this is where I am right now, and you know, the people that have come to me have been on the back of me sharing my vulnerabilities, you know, my hard times, not just my good, not just dressing everything up to look amazing. You know, when I've been at that low point, I've shared it because that's the moment that grabs people, because it's relatable and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm in that same spot. But then they see you move on and they're still there. So that's when they come to you and say, you need to tell me what you're doing, because I need to be where you're going, because I'm still here and you're over there. And we were at the same spot last week. You know, it's the same kind of thing. And I do encourage everybody to share that vulnerability, because it's so powerful. And you don't know who's listening. Yeah,
definitely. Do you just deal with women, or is it any?
I think my go-to is women, just because I am a woman and I've experienced, you know, that experience that women go through. I wouldn't turn a man down.
Yeah.
meaning obviously professionally.
Yeah.
Because I think I can relate to men too, and I understand men. I think my husband, and I would say I'm like my husband's coach in a way. We coach each other through different areas of our life, and I get it. And I'm very empathetic when it comes to what might they be going through, not just what I'm going through. So I would never say never to a man. I've never coached a male. I would not turn it down, especially if it was an energetic fit, because I'm passionate to just help anyone. You know, if I could help someone, then that's me. You know, I'm fulfilling my purpose.
Yeah, the reason I mention it, obviously, I can see on your site that you're passionate for supporting women, but there's a lot in the news at the minute, isn't there, about this thing about women and sexism and stuff like that. It all stems from that terrible murder, which I think is a bit strange that people are relating, you know, something like that to this. But what's your take on sexism? Because it's an interesting one. It's very difficult. Obviously, I'm a man, so I can't say I've felt sexism but I do feel women have more opportunities than ever. But I still think there is a bit of there can be sexism out there. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think I have probably felt it, especially when I've done more corporate things. In that corporate world, there is sexism, I would say. The men are here and the men need to stay here and the women are here. There is a bit of a pecking order, isn't there? But I am all for equality, you know, black, white, pink with ginger spots. Like, it really does not bother me. And I'm an advocate for women. Yeah. Because I've been in the trenches when I felt like it's hard on me, and you know, I'm a woman and I can do exactly what you can do, and you're a male, but you're not giving the opportunity. Yeah. So I relate my experiences to supporting women when they need it most. But I think equality is the way forward. You know, I really do, and I wouldn't ever say that sexism should ever be an issue. Yeah, I really don't.
I think what winds me up a little bit is with sexism, racism, and anything like that is that people, where we've come from to where we are now, it's better than it's ever been. So no one's saying it's perfect, but it's better than it's ever been. So we are going forward, and I think sometimes things that can be said make us feel as if we're going backwards, or could be more damaging, instead of talking about the positives. I mean, my wife is far more successful than me. She can take it. You can have, you know, I wouldn't mess with her. She's great. And I love that. I think, but I just think it's just a shame when we see these big demonstrations and debates, and it's like I hope we're moving in the right direction.
I think we are, and I don't get too attached to things like the whole. I'm going to speak from the heart here, so I don't get too attached from the whole sexism thing, because I do think that sometimes especially when there's big demonstrations, there's always an agenda behind that. You know, it's kind of, they're enforcing it, but there's something behind it, or something somewhere else that's happening that they need a distraction for. And if we can get all eyes over here, we can conquer this without anybody even noticing. So I'm I try and just stay level playing, if you like. I'm not on one side, I'm not on the other. I think equality should just be everybody, whether you're black, white, Asian, Pakistan, whatever. I don't think it's skin and bone at the end of the day. Skin and bone, and that's it. It's what's in here that counts. And that's what should be taken notice of, and same with if you're fat or thin. I mean, it's crazy. At the end of the day, yes, I know there's obviously health benefits of being smaller and not as obese, if you like, but at the end of the day, it's what's in your heart and what's in your soul. And if you're doing good for the world, or if you're doing bad for the world, at the end of the day, that's, as far as I'm concerned, it boils down to.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think what we need to be careful of is, if I have an argument with a woman or a black person or something like that, we don't turn around and say, you're having an argument because you're racist or you're sexist. No, we're just having an argument. We're having a debate.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
the problem. We need to be careful. We don't fall into that. And it's like you said, regardless of who you are or what you are, and I've said this before, if you're a twat, you're a twat. I don't care what religion you are, you know, so... but...
Honestly, I totally agree with that. And I think, let's not dress it up. At the end of the day, you could have had that debate or argument with anybody. It just so happens to be that person. And I think I do feel a bit saddened inside when I see people jumping on that bandwagon. Same with the racism thing, because
it's a minority, isn't it? That's the thing.
It is.
It's a minority, and it helps when we're divided even more. It helps those idiots that are the dickheads that are the small minority.
Yeah. I'm done with division now. I think we need to, if anything, right now, 2020 has taught us that we need to pull together as a country, as a world. You know, at the end of the day, we are so divided at the minute, especially now. It's all about the vaccine. Are you having the vaccine? You're not having the vaccine. And it's that separation. Well, if you're not going to have it, then you're causing this for the world or the community. You're going to bring this to everybody, and you're not thinking about other people. You're thinking about yourself. And I just think,
I know. Give it a break.
I'm so bored of it.
Now, where do you see yourself going in the future? What's plans for the future when lockdown's finished, and are you going to just keep pushing on with your coaching? Have you got any other plans?
Yeah, I've got lots of plans. I've got lots and lots of plans. So our life goal really is, like I said before, is creating freedom and fluidity. And we are working at that at the moment. We've sold our house to pull our money out of it. We want to be able to do what we desire and not be beholden to anything or anyone, really. Coaching, obviously, and it's something that I can do wherever I go. So I could be in Jamaica and still be coaching at the end of the day, and that's the beauty of what I love doing. I will be looking to try and do some TV work as well. That's kind of one of them boxes that I want to tick. I've always wanted to be on TV, not just because I can be on TV. I just think that I would really enjoy it. And I don't ever want to do anything that I don't think I would enjoy. I love putting myself out there. I love meeting new people. And for me, I just think it's a world of opportunity out there. And if you want something, go get it. Don't just sit and think, oh, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice? Just think, why? Go do it. And I want to sort of echo that to my children. I want them to learn and adapt to the fact that if they want something, go get it. It doesn't matter. Don't hold yourself back. We live once, so they say. You know, obviously I can't say if that's true or not, but that's the debate. You know, so I just think, just go for it. But we've got property as well, so we invest in property. And the reason behind that is to replace my husband's income so that he can retire, because he works offshore. So he's away quite a bit. He hates it in terms of being away from his family. So to create that financial freedom, you know, we invest in property and do that. So we'll continue to do that to enable us to be more fluid, more flexible, more free. And the podcast, I guess, will be the next thing when I get settled.
Exciting times.
Yeah.
Good. Now, I always ask my guests if they've got a bit of advice. So what would you, whether it's advice you've been given or you could give to someone, maybe it's someone lacking confidence or something like that, what advice would you give? Well,
I'll give you a bit of advice that I was given, that I've always lived by.
Yeah.
And it was what my grandma always told me. My grandma was my absolute confidant as I was growing up. She really was. And I don't think I could have got to where I am now without her as a child. And she always used to say, Natalie, your face is your fortune. And honestly, she did. And I used to think, what does she mean by that? Because I know she didn't mean doll yourself up. It wasn't a case of like put your best lippy on and get cracking. But it was, for me, the way I perceived that at such a young age was, you've just got to get out there. At the end of the day, it allowed me to have like an air of grace and confidence to everything that I did, because I just thought my face is my fortune. Let's just get it back together. I could have sat and wallowed for many of times, for many periods of time, like lengthwise.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I always used to think, no, my face is my fortune. Let's get my together. And this is where I obviously used the tools and techniques that I formed myself as a young girl and into early adulthood to get back on it, pick myself up. And that's what did pick myself up every time. My grandma's little voice in the background going, come on, your face is your fortune, get yourself up, get yourself sorted, get back on it. And
bless her.
And it did. It really worked. And I think we perceive things differently, don't we, everybody? But that really did it for me. And I referred back to that many of times when I was at my lowest, and I didn't really have the get up and go to do anything or put myself to anything. And she was the one in the background that kept me going. And I thought, you know what, you're right. You're totally right. And from doing that, even if, now we're through this lockdown and I do put my face on in the morning because it gets me productive.
Yeah.
I think people see that as, she's got a face on. But I'm like, but that works for me because I'm in that, I could have my hair scruffed up in a bun, but if my face is on and I'm dressed, doesn't matter if I'm in slouchy clothes or glammed up clothes, it doesn't really make a difference what I'm wearing. But I think if I sort my face out in terms of just make myself feel nice and better within myself, for me, I've done something for me, then I'm able to apply myself much better throughout the day, especially when we've been in the situation that we've been in. Yeah. And it allows, when you're in that frame of mind and you are giving yourself some form of self-care, which for me is putting my makeup on, that allows you then to put yourself forward and put yourself into places that you perhaps wouldn't have done if you were sat back in the corner, in a state with yourself. And it allows more opportunities to come your way because, as you know, when you're putting yourself out there, you're open to so many more opportunities. And I think this has probably allowed me to experience what I've experienced based on my grandma saying, your face is your fortune. Honestly, I'm putting it all kudos to her.
Ain't it funny how the older generation have brilliant advice?
That's just one bit of advice. I can go on and on from what she's told me.
These little tidbits of advice that they give you. You could read a whole book and then, you get that one little line from your grandma, which is the one that it always springs to mind. I love that. Now, I always ask my guests for a favourite, so it can be a book, a film, just something that resonates with you and something that's accessible to all. Have you got any?
I've got lots of things. Favourite quote? I've got a favourite quote.
Oh, go on. Yeah, whatever you want.
My favourite quote is, you were born to stand out, not blend in. And that obviously stems from things I've gone through. Yeah. And I felt as a child, I would constantly put these faces on to fit. I would be this kind of person today to fit in this group of people because otherwise I'd be picked on or bullied. Yeah. And it took me a long time to actually feel comfortable in the skin that I was in and feel like I could just be who I was. And if I was a bit different, so what? If I'm loud, so what? And I think I'm a massive advocate for that. If, you are born to stand out, you're not born to blend in, because how the hell are you going to get anywhere if you're just mixed in the crowd? Yeah. So that's my one top bit of my favourite quote. I love saying it.
And what else? You said you had another one, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I've got loads. What do you want now? Favourite food? Favourite food. What's my favourite food?
McDonald's is mine at the minute.
No.
No, I'm joking.
I like a good Thai,
I've never really got into Thai food. I think I had some years ago and I crunched on a big piece of, what's that spice to put in it? Coriander or something.
Oh, I love coriander.
Made me want to puke, so I'm not.
I like hot stuff, so anything hot, really spicy.
I do like spicy. I would like to get, and it's pretty healthy as well, isn't it? Thai food.
Yeah, and I love fish. I love fish. I think fish is my favourite kind of protein source alongside eggs, I think.
Yeah, I need to get more into fish. I don't have enough, and there's so many good things that come with it.
There is. It's good for you.
Excellent stuff. Now, if people want to get in contact with you, Natalie, where are you on social media and things like that?
So on Instagram, I am Natalie Crawford _coaching. You can find me there. I'm probably on Instagram the most because that's where a lot of my traffic comes from. And then obviously on my website, it's www.nataliecrawfordcoaching. You can find me there and find out about all my services. Obviously, I am on Clubhouse, which you can find me on there. Come and join a room, and and other than that, I am on Facebook as well, just under Natalie Crawford.
You are everywhere on social media. Well, I'll put all the links in the description to the podcast anyway. Well, look, it's been absolute great having you on, Natalie, and finding out what you're up to. I'm sure the coaching is just going to go onwards and upwards, especially with you gaining on your social media and your Clubhouse, because like I say, Clubhouse is if you can use it in the right direction, it can have a massive effect. But yeah, just keep doing it, and when you do become world famous, make sure you give us a shout back, and we'll get we'll get you back on. Okay.
Okay, fabulous. That's wonderful.
No problem at all, Natalie. Thanks ever so much for coming on. I'll speak to you soon.
Take care. Bye.
So that's it. Massive thanks again to Natalie for joining me today, and also to you for listening or watching. Make sure you follow the podcast, because coming up over the next few months, there are even some more extraordinary interviews. Keep that. I don't let you down. The podcast streaming on all the usual platforms, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So please leave a rating on there and subscribe. It means the world. And remember, if you want to look on social media, Facebook's My Way of Thinking Podcast and Instagram's MWOT Podcast. Every week I put the whole conversation on YouTube. Just search My Way of Thinking Podcast. And finally, if you want to get in touch or you think you know someone who'd be a great guest, then it's MWOTpodcast@AOL.com. Until next time, enjoy the sun. God bless. Take care.